Welcome back, everybody, to our podcast. This is Michael Oliveras from JurisQ.com, a legal network where we answer your frequently asked questions on various law topics. But today we're focusing on one, which is divorces, with a premier divorce attorney, Alla Kurolapnik, that has a focus on mediation. And we're discussing how mediation can help you in lessening the effects of a protracted court battle that sometimes takes place in a court divorce proceeding. And today I want to talk about appeals. Appeals of a case, that's something that could be very costly and protracted. You think you won your judgment against your spouse, you have your division of assets, you have your maybe alimony, you have your child support, but the other spouse can always appeal, right? They always have a right to appeal anything that a court decides. And then you again have to start the process all over again, now with a different judge. Again, you have to pay the attorneys and so on. It's best to diminish the chances of an appeal. And you could do that with mediation. Alla, can you please explain how, with mediation, you could have a less of a chance of an appeal?
Well, an appeal can only, you can only appeal a decision of a court, right? So if two parties or two litigants and two spouses reach an agreement between themselves, it's an agreement. Now, you can have post-judgment proceedings to enforce a violation of that agreement and judgment, but there's no appeal that lies from something that you and your spouse reached consensually, as opposed to a judge making a determination, because an appeal lies from an error in law or missing certain facts, or doing something else that's incorrect. What you're appealing what the judge did, not necessarily what you and your spouse did. So the sure way to make sure that there's no appeal after a divorce is, of course, to enter into some kind of an agreement, either through mediation, through a collaborative divorce process, or through negotiating through your attorneys, but it's certainly not through a judge. So of course, I, as you know, promote mediation in this process, or attorney negotiations, both services which I provide to help couples reach, in mediation, both the parties are my clients, and through attorney negotiations, whoever has retained me, to help them reach a resolution concerning their divorce. And it could be on a number of issues. We could even, sometimes I have cases where we resolve everything but one issue, and we'll say, well, let the parties go to mediation on this particular issue. So we'll, if I'm involved in negotiation, I'll say, okay, why don't we send this out to a mediator to see if they can work together with the mediator on this one particular issue, instead of incurring additional fees. And that's help. That's often, sometimes the parties need that that space to be able to speak with each other without having the zealous representation of counsel, to be able to resolve that. So
all right, I just learned something new. See, I didn't know that you could actually go to mediation on a part of a process. You can have your day in court and everything else, but on some point you can move aside and go to mediation. And actually, I want to have a whole session just on that at some point about partial mediation. Yep. Okay, go ahead.
So I often advise clients initially because look, anytime you leave the decision-making process to a third party, or someone it's a stranger in a black robe deciding what could potentially be very expensive decisions in your life, and very personal decisions in your life.
Absolutely.
And the best way to kind of overcome that is to be able to put aside the emotional task of it, and try to work through it. And that's why mediation, we employ a number of different professionals to help us steer clients in that direction. We work with divorce coaches, with lifestyle coaches, with financial analysts, accountants, mental health professionals, parent coordinators, that all that help our clients come to a resolution concerning a divorce on their own terms and in their own time, as opposed to doing it in front of a judge.
Thank you so much. Thank you for what you do in educating the public and actually helping the people come together and have a peaceful resolution to their case. Because as we have just described in detail, if you go to litigation that is full blown, there's always a chance the other side is not happy with the decision by a judge, and they can appeal, and the process will be protracted by time. You have to spend extra money for your attorneys. Extra stress will be imposed on you, on your family, on your kids. It is much more advisable to reach a peaceful solution, like Alla has described. When you have a peaceful resolution to this conflict, there's less of a chance of going to the appeal process by the other side that feels aggrieved somehow. So definitely we recommend our advocates for use of mediators, to go to attorneys that advocate and use the aid of mediation process. And we have the phone number of Alla Kurolapnik on the bottom of the screen. If you're considering divorce or you're going through divorce now, but you want to hear about the option of mediation, please call the number on the bottom of the screen. Alla, thank you so much for your time. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alla. Take care.